The mean streets of Gadgetzan are just around the corner, and with it, a brand new meta filled with new strategies and card interactions. We thought it would be fun to talk about a few of the new archetypes that might crop up in the first few days of the expansion. While this is all just speculation, we invite you to sit back and enjoy this tour of new deck possibilities that might emerge from the mean streets of Gadgetzan. Area of effect spells are pouring into the mean streets in the new meta. One thing we might expect is, yes, not kidding, the end of mid-range Shaman. Shaman's small token boards that snowballed with powerful card synergies are going to be melted in the new Mean Streets meta. The class will have to adapt, and an obvious take would be a Jade Golem, White Eyes control deck archetype. It seems to be a good place to start. Here are some of the main cards we might see featured here. In a recent video, we discussed the future of Priest, but in case you missed it, the Mean Streets have some very powerful Priest cards that might revive Control or Dragon Priest once again. As of now, it seems that there are two distinct Priest deck archetypes that will be popular in the coming days. A Reno Control archetype that could make use of N'Zoth synergies, and a non-Reno Dragon archetype. One of the biggest mysteries of the set is Paladin. Clearly, Mean Streets is dishing out a lot of aggro-esque token synergies for the class. Blizzard has been pushing a more aggro token and even Divine Shield based Paladin since the old gods, and perhaps the following additions may be enough to finally make it viable. That being said, the Mean Streets will be plagued with area of effect cards, and this might kill the viability of token archetypes before they gather steam. With the addition of early game cards and cheap buffs through a Paladin deck, using Divine Shield aggro variants could be the deck of choice for this class. In Druid, we've seen multiple cards that seem to be extremely powerful. Depending on how the meta shakes out, the control style of Druid might be too slow to handle aggro. If not, we're likely to see some very greedy ramp variants that make use of the new powerful late game synergies. The finishing punch could be designed in the form of Khun the Forgotten King, which, if comboed with Aviana or other powerful minions, could very well close out any game. Warrior is one of the few classes that has had a plethora of synergies tossed its way with no clear archetype so far. The new cards are so disjointed that people are talking about Taunt Warrior. Will Mean Streets finally provide enough tools to make this warrior design possible? The addition of I Know a Guy, Public Defender, Stolen Goods, and Alley Armorsmith bring 4 new cards for this elusive archetype to consider. And don't forget that Warrior also stumbled upon some nice area of effect and weapon synergies in this set, Sleep with the Fishes and Hobart Grapplehammer. Get used to Gorehouse showing up with 8 attack in the new season. If Taunt Warrior whiffs in the meta yet again, you can always fall back on an aggro Pirate Warrior with some new feature tools for Smorking and Small Time Buccaneer, Naga Corsair, and Hobart Grapplehammer. While Blizzard tossed in a few new secret synergy type cards for Mage, that archetype hasn't gained any steam in recent seasons. The new cards are interesting, but these little guys probably won't be enough to make a secret centered strategy break into the meta. This leaves Mage to make use of the greedy Reno type cards, some of which could finally push the Reno Mage archetype into a viable tier 2 deck. It's also worth noting that Mage gets another area of effect card in Volcanic Potion, which at its worst does the damage of Blizzard but at 3 mana. Mean Streets of Gadgetzan has thrown a lot of new interactions and mechanics towards Hunter, but ultimately it seems like Face is still the place for Hunter. The Face Hunter archetype had lost steam in recent sets, but look out for these guys in the first few days of the season. If you enjoy playing overstated minions on curve, then shoot for a turn 1 coin Smuggler's Crate Alley Cat. 4/4 in stats on turn 1 with beast synergies never look so sweet. Warlock has been the ideal place for Reno decks since League of Explorers was introduced, and the archetype will gain some strength with the addition of more Reno type mechanics and even more single card area of effect. Demon archetypes will also see a revival with the addition of Crystal Weaver, Blood Fury Potion, and the neutral common Street Trickster. While demon minions aren't as strong as the Mal'Ganis and Voidcaller days, look out for Cruel the Unshackled if a strong demon dense archetype develops. Word on the street is that Rogue in general got the short end of the stick in this set. A few Jade synergies were added, but Rogue struggles with sustain because of a lack of board clears and heals, such as Lotus Assassin and Shadow Sensei. Ultimately, we think this makes them too inconsistent. Perhaps the strongest card Rogue gets in Mean Streets is the counterfeit coin, and sadly, that's the only sign of inflation for the Rogue class in this set. We hope you enjoyed this rundown of each class and where we see new archetypes potentially develop. Please leave your thoughts and comments below. Thank you for watching and stay safe out there on the Mean Streets of Gadgetzan.